Hell yeah.
Classes in session, this is the show where knowledge is profit, just so you know. Army Piper, OC Guy, and TradeFly, bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy, it's all going down, let's go.
Well, FOMC day is here, and Bitcoin had a nice little bounce off of key area support. And we got to talk about how I missed out on a couple $1,000s last night. So, ladies and gentlemen, classes in session. What is going on, alumni? Welcome back to another episode of Piper Academy. And here on this show, we give you some of the most important market news and TA that you can actually use. And we do that every day at 0930 Eastern. Unfortunately, though, the man, the myth, the legend, Army Piper is out today. And he's getting some much needed vacay. But don't you worry. I got the professor of TA in the house, OC Guy. How you doing, my man?
Doing awesome. Totally expecting that. Just taking my breakfast. But let's get it rolling.
Surprise, dude. We got all kinds of news today, but probably the biggest thing we're going to talk about is FOMC day. So let's go ahead and look at the economic calendar. And you can see, hey, today, 10 a.m. my time, but I think it's going to be 2 o'clock Eastern time for you guys, is going to be the Fed interest rate decision. And then after that, you're going to have Jerome Powell talk. And then, of course, there'll be the Fed press conference following everything up. And, you know, today, expect a little volatility. That would be my expectation. So kind of, you know, play it conservative today, kind of wait to see how things shake out, see which way the market's going to trend, and then make your move at that point. That's kind of how I would play that one. But let's go ahead and also look at the crypto bubbles today, see what our big movers are today. And looking at that, here we go. So WIF is down 16.3%. Not that surprising. Not that it's anything bad with WIF. It's just it had an exponential move up. So, of course, it's going to pull back a little bit. It's a meme coin. We always tell you high volatility associated with low cap, right? So be careful with that. So in terms of movers, Pepe, that's up 10.4%. You got Ton. I'm starting to hear a little bit more about that. I know a few days ago I was like, what is that? But now I'm starting to read about it. And actually, it might be something to keep an eye on. So keep a lookout for a ton. Read up on that. Do your own research, obviously. That's KCS. So that's actually KuCoin. So that's moving. That's pretty nice. Stats is up 6.6%. Bonk 3.2%. Let's see. What else is getting slammed here? It looks like AVAX is down 9.1%. Sol's pulling back a little bit. Had an exponential move up to the $200 range. And we expected a little bit of a pullback based off of that number. No big surprises there. Let's go ahead and get into the liquidations. And looking at that, in the past 24 hours, 114,558 traders were liquidated. Total liquidations comes in at 428 million. And the largest liquidation order happened on OKX. That was ETH at a value of 6.48 million. Sorry for your luck. All right. Let's go ahead and look at the liquidation or the liquidity heat map. Sorry about that. All right. So what I did is I did bring it out on the 1 month. And the reason I brought it out on the 1 month, there's really one big area of concern. And we did talk about it yesterday, but I'm going to keep kind of harping on it because look, we're trending in that direction, unfortunately. And this is the area that I think the market makers want to make it to. There is millions, billions of dollars in liquidity sitting down here at about 50,500. Now, again, I don't think that we're necessarily just going to dump right down to it, but don't be surprised at some point if we keep working our way down that you see a wick that comes down just to clear out this liquidity. So what can you do to actually get ahead of that? Well, this is what I've done. I've actually put a purchase order at 50,900 personally, and that's just me at some point. If it comes down, then my limit order will fill. If not, no big deal. I'm still going to make some trades in the meantime. All right, so that's looking at all of that. Let's see where Bitcoin is on the charts today. And we will actually talk about how I did miss out on a few, well, we'll say a couple $1,000s last night. So let's just go on the 4 hour. And this was right here. So this is about 9 o'clock last night. Bitcoin did pull back to the 200-day SMA on the 4 hour chart. And it did have some support, here. I love the horizontal levels of support. So it did come down, it touched that. And I was going to play it last night. And I made what we call a CBD, a comfort-based decision. And I decided I wanted to go to sleep last night. So, of course, it did get a bounce, just like I was expecting, but we are messing with this dynamic reactor. So won't get too far into the TA today. You can see where Bitcoin's sitting at right now. It is at about 63,700 or so, or correction, 400, looking at the chart there. And, again, I would just be kind of careful today. So that is what we got for some of the numbers, a little bit of where Bitcoin's at, the liquidations. Let's go ahead and go over to the Duo Cam and talk to OC guy, man. How you feeling about today?
Oh, I'm feeling pretty excited. In fact, I did open up a couple of positions on my 1 hour analysis of yesterday Bitcoin. I was looking for a possible reversal. We were looking for some smart money areas, some also possible bouncing areas, and it went right to those areas. And more likely than not, it's going to be bouncing for a little bit, especially I believe or I expect a little continuation to the downside. But nonetheless, I'm taking advantage of buying the dip as we've been programming, and I've been preaching about this dip for so long. Come on, I even thought that for at once that we would never have this pullback. I was almost about to get my guard down and say, "All right, you know what? I believe that this time I'm gonna be completely wrong. We're not gonna have it." And well, too sad. I might just stay 70% on my on Tether, right? But turns out that we did have a pullback. I'm trying to DCA in on those coins. Right now I'm somewhere around 40 47% in with my tether, so still a little bit to go. I'm still gonna be holding from 20 to 30% out just in case we have some FOMO money in the market, like crazy movement, unexpected movements. I'm still gonna be saving those. But at this point, just enjoying it, and like trading
Yeah, man.
trying to create the bottom.
Absolutely. Yeah, always important to have a little bit of dry powder on the side, catch some movements, especially if you start hitting some key levels of support and resistance. You want an opportunity to still jump in. And for me, I like making some of those short-term intraday kind of trades myself. That's actually the majority of what I do at this point. But like I said, man, I am sitting there waiting at about 50,900, and I'll just leave that. I'll leave that there, and maybe one day it'll hit it. Just like when we got up to the all-time high and we got up to 69K, I was sitting there live streaming. I'm like, are we shorting right now? Because this is the key area. Like, this is a key area of resistance. We had to get a little bit of a pullback. I knew it because that's a psychological thing. People are just going to start taking profits at that point, knowing that that was the all-time high. So they have that money sitting there, or they have that trade sitting there saying, hey, this is where I'm going to exit or take profits. So yeah, man, it's super important. Stick with your guns. Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, man.
And that you're gonna nail it. I mean, so far I think that we're gonna be visiting the 59K. The 60 still have some open positions down there, and yeah, I mean, so far looking pretty good. And you know what? Let me show you right here. I do believe that 58,500 is my next up position. I believe that we're gonna go visit the dynamic reactor, then bounce back down, and maybe have a week down there. So I don't think you have missed on anything. I'm still also doing and planning on entering on those areas. And as you said, I mean, it's just about being prepared, right? We don't know the future. We don't know if it's gonna hit it for sure, but we have our analysis and we place our entries on the best case scenarios on that analysis.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, let's get over to the chat and say what's up to a couple people out here. I see Ninja Glock. He was
Hello.
first in the chat today. Congrats, man. We got Jay. We got Zach in here. Oh, and you know what? Check out our new sticker for the OC guy. You guys are going to love it. Tinfoil hats on, baby. We got a sticker for that now. All right, Justin Eubanks is in here. Crypto Trades, what's up, man? Been seeing you on the regular. Alexander G, as always, here you go. Hugs out. That's my thing for you. Army Piper coming in, creeping on the show. Hey, man, go. You're on vacation, bro. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Who else we got in here? I got Crux of Crypto, man, always in the background, super important. And if you guys haven't checked out his videos, like he does some of the static videos for us, and basically he's analyzing some of the different projects, right? This latest one was on Bitcoin. You guys got to check those out. He does a phenomenal job, and he spends a ton of time doing analysis, and they are actually really, really good. So check those out. Give those things a push, man, because we got to get that guy growing. I'm trying to get him here on the live show, man, but he's sneaky, man. He keeps ghosting me. Also, too, in the chat or down in the description here, you got Decrypted Tax. Go ahead, check that out. Legendary Aviation Coffee. If you're not drinking that, you ain't doing it right. Let's see who else we got in the chat. Blackie Chan, what's up? Henry Wallace, how you doing? Let's see who else. We got LBC in the house. What's up, homie? Hey, mad love to you, brother. French Toast, hola. How you doing, buddy? Let's see. Anyone else? David Brumbelow. He's always pushing our stuff too. So big shout out. Thank you, man. We really appreciate you. Crypto Polio, Cluck Cluck, B Team Crypto. And here we go. What are all the ones in the chat? Who's asking for something here? You guys let me know. What are you talking about in here? One's for Crux
I
in the
think you're
live
talking
stream.
about the background.
Absolutely. No, it's for Crux in the live stream. They want Crux in the live stream. Let's go, man. Make it happen. Hey, guys, special guest this week, Crux of Crypto. Ha, you got to be on here now. All right, check it out. Let's go ahead and get over into some of the news. All right, first up, we got Binance CEO Richard Tang reveals end of the year BTC price prediction, says bull market just getting started. So what do you think? What do you think, OC guy, without me actually scrolling down? What do you think his prediction is? I'm going to put you on the spot here. What do you guys? Chat, what do you think? Let's hear it.
Let's
Look, are
just
you
go
trying to
for
look at the
$1
bottom of the
million.
screen right now? You're trying to look
Yeah,
at the
let's
bottom of the
go.
screen to see it?
Look like that.
Unreal, dude. All right.
Oh shit.
What do you guess? What do you guess? Let's see what the chat's saying.
Let's go
What do they
for, I
guess
don't
in
know,
the,
$1.2 million, something like that. Let's go for that.
1 million?
Let's see.
Whoa, jeez. Nah, he actually falls more in line with me. So he's looking at about $80,000. Exceeding 80,000 is his call. So again, my call was about 88 at the end of the year, and he kind of falls in line with that. So he probably took my method and just drew a straight line across because that's the way simple men do it. So let's go over to this next article. Apple co-founder wins against YouTube and Bitcoin scam lawsuit. Now, I'm not going to dabble into this, billionaires winning money on the lawsuits. The one thing that's important about this article, though, is there was videos, and basically what they were trying to do was like, hey, if you give us 1 Ethereum, we'll give you 2. Does that sound right? Well, for whatever reason, a lot of people got scammed with this, and a lot of people fell victim to it. They would go to websites that looked very legitimate, and it looked like they were like nonprofit or something along those lines. And people were just getting scammed left and right. So be on the lookout for that. And one of them they were using a lot. I don't know if they've gotten rid of it totally, but there was a lot of them were Elon. So they had Elon talking, and they were basically doing like an interview, and it all looked somewhat legitimate. They did a pretty good job with like cropping things in, and it was very like drawn out conversations. And then they were basically trying to pull you into, send them your Ethereum or send them your Bitcoin, and they were promising to send you money back. Anything like that, please, for the love of God, do not do that. It is a scam. So be on the lookout for that. It's kind of the only big reason I wanted to talk about that one. But here's a good one. Here's something that is interesting. Solana actually leapfrogged Ethereum on DEX volume. So this is really associated to the meme coin frenzy, they say, which seems to have catalyzed higher volumes on the Solana blockchain, which also boosts greater capital efficiency than Ethereum. So, lower gas fees, it runs quicker, and you don't have as many. I know like sometimes when Ethereum gets really clogged up, when they have that like NFT like craze going on, they have issues with people's transactions not going through. And, again, gas fees are just astronomical. So not going to really dive too much deeper into that, but it is interesting. You can see it right here, Solana #1. So, let's go back to the duocam and talk about that. And this kind of goes back to one of the conversations that we had before, and we were talking about Solana actually flipping Ethereum. Now, do you think that actually could happen this year or maybe next year that, Solana actually overtakes Ethereum?
I don't think that it's going to happen this year. I mean, I think brought in the past, especially with the ETF being approved, right? We all can remember what happened there. Nonetheless, my overall prediction on that one was a pullback, and that pullback happened. I believe it's going to happen somewhere around the same. I don't think that we're going to be having that flip Solana on Ethereum. And for a basic fundamental, how unstable at this point Solana is based on how stable Ethereum is, right? I mean, we can absolutely understand that Ethereum is just expensive AF, right? But still, Solana has been proven to be unstable. So when you are talking about millions of dollars, or even your small portfolio, your normal person portfolio, you want it to be safe, right? Of course, that the FOMO and speculation is there. We might be seeing a close run up there, but I don't believe that we're gonna be having it until they really solve, like once and for all, those stability issues that they have. If they do soon enough before Ethereum brings another thing to the table, they have a chance. But it's a race.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you
I
were talking
mean, I
about
think
a
it's
scam, right? The only thing that is not a scam, it is that if you click that like button, guys, this channel grows, and that is for true.
There it is, man. There it is. I like it. Yeah, dude. So I think it's hiccups, man. It's growing pains. Sol is going to experience that a little bit. Ethereum is obviously, been around, been in the game, for quite some time at this point. But I mean, there's no denying the power behind Solana right now. They have a lot of like VC in there. They have just tons of investment, and they're constantly, striving to get better. Hey, let's not like push that to the side, and they are efficient. And I just little example, right? And I was talking in the Discord about this. I was moving money over. I use Coinbase as an on-off ramp to get to other exchanges. And one of the things that initially I was doing was trying to move USDT. Well, that goes through ERC20, which is Ethereum based, right? And the fees were like $18 to move like $1,000. Well, ultimately, I was able to move that money over for less than $1. Now, I used Avalanche, the C chain, but other people were telling me, "Hey, we use Solana, that chain, to actually move the money as well," and the same result. It's less than $1. So I mean, it's a little thing like that. It's like for me, like everyone asks, like, what's the utility? Well, that was the utility for me. Like I was able to move money around, and it was quick. It was way quicker than I had experienced before. I was able to move that money, and I was able to do it cheap. So for me, that's already providing utility. The NFT market is growing, and just what people are using the Solana chain for is continuing to grow at a rapid rate. So very interesting, and I think it has a chance. I think it has a chance probably in the next couple of years, especially if Ethereum doesn't fix the gas fees. Why keep paying the gas fees? That's my biggest question. Why? Like it just doesn't make sense to pay that amount of money when you can use something else. Like it's simple. Like if you were to choose a bank and they were going to say, "Hey bro, $180 every time you move $10,000 or 18." What are you going to do? Like it's going to be a pretty simple choice for you. All right. Cool. Let's get into
CryptoPoint says,
some
I use
TA.
XRP. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Croc says Solana transactions taking 4 hours plus this week, and also CryptoPoint, best stable coin in crypto. I use, and this is, I mean, I'm even embarrassed to say so, but I use Tron to make money to move money around.
That a lot of people do. A lot of people do. Like that's Old
Yeah, I
Faithful.
know,
That's been
but
around. It's been working. Like I said, I use the Avalanche C chain. So if you guys haven't used that, dude, super quick, and it was less than $1 to move stuff. So I think it ended up being like 80 cents or something like that to move money, which is the cheapest I had experienced. And also like on Coinbase, if you guys look at that, the fees to move things on Avalanche is waived. So that's a very important part of it as well. So cool. Let's get over to some TA, man. I'm going to kick it over to you, OC guy. I'm going to let you kind of run with the first wave here. Let's take a look at Bitcoin if you have that up, and you have Ether. Well, that's fine too. Ether will
no,
work.
that's
Let's see
it's
what you got.
Bitcoin.
Oh, it is? Oh, sorry.
Isn't
My
it
bad.
Bitcoin?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Bitcoin.
It is.
Uh,
It is.
I was throwing up a
It's.
little bit there.
Hey,
All right.
I'm getting
It just
old. Sorry about that, man.
OC, hand TradeFly your
no, that's
tinfoil
fine.
hat.
That's fine. Yeah, I need to bring it. It's that you need to get that 5G out of your hair, brother. That's the trick. Just kidding. All right, so I want to go over into 1 hour. By the way, this is not something that I usually do. Nonetheless, yesterday because of the big momentum that Bitcoin have had, I was expecting a reaction in Bitcoin, especially on the 1 hour, because a fast movement usually comes with a fast reaction, right? So that's why I decided to go a little bit down here and also looking for some creation of new order blocks. As you can see, this order block just got created right here on this week, and we have a loud order block. Remember, we have three classifications of order blocks. We have soft, easy to break, strong, hard to break, and loud, the hardest to break. So far right here we have a loud here and also another loud all the way up here, but we have the dynamic reactor remaining strong. Let me push that dynamic reactor of what I believe is going to be moving, and also we have a breakthrough or almost a breakthrough on that zero line. Yesterday I was speculating on a lower and higher low on my oscillator right here. As you can see, it in fact took not only one but twice and created, look at that, many lines that I have in here. It created that bullish divergence that I was expecting, basically pumping us up all the way up here. Something important that I was expecting, it was a double bottom. It wasn't exactly double bottom. It shaped more like a head and shoulders or a very cricket head and shoulders in here, right? And we are breaking. We're not out of the woods in here. I did also expect a farther or a faster movement, but nonetheless, we are getting through the zero line. If we can make it above the zero line in here and do not flip too much into the downside, maybe going above this loud order block, we're going to be off to the races for the dynamic reactor, and especially having a chance to break the dynamic reactor. Let me just point it out as plan B, all right? Breaking the dynamic reactor, going to the loud area, going back down to the dynamic reactor. It is not about the breakout. It's about the retest, and then off we go. Let me just revisit the 4 hour just to see a little bit better here, and making that movement. It could be going into the high area right here, and possibly we could be going for a bounce or the next movement to the downside. So again, that's what I'm telling you guys. This is not out yet because there is the chance that for plan A, that's why I mentioned that was plan B, right? That for plan A, we are going to be bouncing off the 4 hour or the 1 hour dynamic reactor, and then flipping back down for the further movement into where that box that I've been having there for so long, which is again between the 58,700 and the 55,500. So again, I do have big positions open up here, especially on spot trading, and I hopefully can fill them up on this cycle. But yeah, turning it back to you, TradFly.
Right on. Let's go over to Bitcoin on the 4 hour. Talked a little bit about that, and you kind of mentioned it as well. But one of the key areas that I'm looking for right now is the dynamic reactor. We're on the bottom side of that, and it's flipped to red, and we haven't seen that in quite some time. You got to go back pretty far on the chart. Looks like all the way before it flipped green here in January. All right, so a significant amount of time since we've seen red on the dynamic reactor. Not all the greatest news. You did see the 20-day cross the 50-day moving average here. And really, this 20-day moving average, the SMA, has actually been pretty important, right? We got it rejected. We came up. We tried again, rejected. It's really kind of riding that wave down, almost like it was riding the wave up. So you're now seeing a flipping trend, all right? So you got to be very careful here. We are hoping this area holds. This is a pretty important area. I don't know if I really emphasized it much yesterday, but you got the 200-day SMA. You have this lower area. So I had this marked yesterday about right here, right? On the top side where it was acting as resistance. I was hoping that that area was going to hold up. It didn't. It came back down to the bottom area here. So I want to be fully transparent. Yep, I moved this line on you if you're paying attention yesterday, but that's because I saw that the price broke down. And then I'm looking now at the bottom side of this area. You have resistance, you have support, and now we really want that to hold up, and you're having confluence with a 200-day SMA. So this is a really critical area that we're in time now. I think we're going to figure out quite a bit today, especially after Jerome talks. Like once he says what he's going to say, you're going to get an idea. Are we bullish or are we bearish overall sentiment throughout, all of the market? And that's probably going to drive the price. The scary part is if we fall outside of this, I mean, obviously look for the retest, here to confirm that this is now going to be resistance. But if we do fall out, I mean, you guys can see it. There's not going to be a lot of volume in this area. Like that's very, very apparent. You look at the chart, you had that small little bull flag right there, and then it just kept pressing up. So maybe you might have a stop in this area. But what I'm getting at is it would be a pretty gnarly free fall, probably back down to these areas right here where you're talking about 52 to 50. So again, be careful. Intraday stuff, yep, that's there for the taking. Obviously, you're bouncing here on support and you got some resistance here with the dynamic reactor. But just look, there is an opportunity to get down to these levels. And that's why I have this alert here, because I think that if we break down, it will be almost inevitable that we see this area again. Now, if we do get some good news and we get bullish, where can we go? Well, you got to wait. We got to break through this dynamic reactor, and then we got to get through all of this, right? So we have a bunch of areas of support and resistance, and then you have the moving averages. So it's going to be tough sledding, I think, to kind of push back up, but it is Bitcoin. It can move quick. And if we have bullish news in the economy, then, it could make a move. We've seen $10,000 moves as recently as within the last month. So this can happen. Just be ready. And, there's a bunch of targets here for you to look at, but obviously you're going to have the all-time high, and then you got to get through all these moving averages again. So it'll probably be a slower trek up this time. I think there was a little bit of euphoria getting behind Bitcoin and then people taking profits. It's not likely that the people that took profits are going to immediately just dump right back in because they're enjoying the profits right now. They're out in some, what St. Thomas, buying $100,000 rings for their wives, Piper, enjoying things. So just kidding. He didn't take profits, but that's about what I'm seeing on Bitcoin right now. Story of the day here is be conservative, be careful. We are in a critical area. So back over to you, OC. I'll let you talk through what you got next.
We got
Absolutely.
some otters
We
in the
have
chat.
the other. Yeah, what's up?
I was saying we got some
Was that
otters
Zach?
in the chat.
Oh,
Yeah,
gang,
we have
gang.
some others. So, Alex,
I see my
Crypto,
man.
what's up, buddy? Yeah. So, also, do we have any requests on the to take a look at? If we
Yeah,
don't,
we do.
guys, remember that
It's in
we
the
are
chat.
here. What is it?
There's some
Oh,
in the chat right now.
got
I'll
it.
put them in the live chat while you work the Ethereum.
Perfect. Absolutely. So taking a look at Ethereum right here, Ethereum 4 hours. Let me go back and take a look at what has been happening. We got the topic here. Also, we were looking at this previous top and also this previous week, right? So as you can see, easy peasy going for that dynamic reactor. So it's not about the breakout, it's about the retest, and off we go. At this point, we're starting to look for this area of support. But what is that area of support? And look at how we nailed it almost exactly at the center. Look at that, beautiful. And that is because we have this little ranging zone, and also we have what I call the spring. It is not a spring on the Wyckoff theory, but I call it the spring just like in this case, but to the opposite. Just again, clarifying, that's not the actual name, but I'd like to call it that way, and you cannot teach. Oh, wait, you're going to teach an old dog new tricks, right? That's what I say. So I'm sticking with that. So if I start throwing here a couple of support and resistances, let's take a look at what do we have right there. We have not only a resistance or a supporting this area, we also have a liquidity zone. And that liquidity zone goes all the way back down here, the same area that we're looking for, right? And all the way right here on this area, we had another support line, right? If we start adding another big support and resistances, we can see that they are pairing very much, very, very alike. So right now you can also say or see that I was pointing also as to the great predictive range on how far could it be going, and then absolutely going for the smart money areas, right down here. So far we're going for that bounce we are having the V-shaped recovery a little bit more violent of what I was expecting. And then the next step for me will be going for the dynamic reactor, or maybe this blue line in here. And let me remind you that we have a very strong resistance all the way up here, right? And possibly, if we still are below the zero line, a bounce to the downside, and because we're having a bunch of bullish divergences, well, then possibly a making of a higher low and retaking the bullish trend. This bullish trend is just way too into the future. It's just like climate with every single new information or piece of information, the weather or the prediction of the weather will change, right? But so far, this is what I'm looking at Ethereum. Not all bad. We're having a big retracement to the upside. That is good. That is very good. And just so you know, guys, I'm already on profits on Ethereum. I enter on Ethereum. I enter on Bitcoin. I enter on, let me tell you also, I enter on Bunk. I enter on AVAX. I enter on Injective, and I also enter on Matic. So that's what I got going on, guys. And let me throw it back to you, and then also bring up the next one.
Hey, OC, could you list what you didn't enter on?
Yeah, I know.
Jeez, dude. All right, right on. Cool. So I got Avalanche. I saw AVAX in the chat. I got on the daily initially. All right. So what I did do was a trib-based fib extension. So you could see it just went from the low to the high, the pullback, which was right here, just extended it out so you can actually see some of the numbers. Now, it did get a nice little push up, but one of the things that I always like to look for is some kind of, confluence or correlation to kind of like the top side. When we're talking about high side targets, I always want to go back left on the charts and look and be like, hey, where can we find some sort of support and resistance? Because a lot of times, like, yeah, these areas are nice, but it doesn't always play out all the way. You see that with cup and handles. You see that when you have a head and shoulders. I always try to find where does that support or that resistance level kind of line up-ish, right? And sure enough, we did come up right here to this area that we had previous support, and it looks like a little bit of resistance, and then the big breakdown. Remember, retest, boom, breakdown. That means that's a key area for me. Came up, and really, we just touched that, which is very interesting. But it pulled back. Now we're looking like, where can we go? And it looks like we're kind of in this like 0.618, maybe a 0.5 area. It could be argued, but those are all wicks right here. And this is on the daily. So, I mean, we're kind of holding pretty strong here, at least trying not to close below about $53, $52. But I would keep an eye just on this area, really about at the 0.5, where you see about $48 or so. I would see that as an area that you could find some support, and that's just based on where you had previous resistance. On the daily, though, we are overbought, pulling back. That is looking pretty negative. Let's see if the 4 hour is telling us a different story. Let's see, give the oscillator a chance to catch up here. Yeah, unfortunately, it's just the bearish divergence, really. You got the price going up, oscillators coming down, and right here, this is really an RSI-based oscillator. So for it to pull back after it getting up here where there was going to be resistance, not too surprising to see a pullback. So key area, obviously $64 high side. I don't think we're going there anytime in the next couple of days. But, if it pulls back, this would be an opportunity, I would say, to get back in. If it doesn't hold up the support level right here, I say $48 and a dynamic reactor. You can see that kind of in the same area. So if it does pull back, that would probably be an area of interest for me. What we would like to see, though, is the RSI starting to trend up and right in confluence with coming down here to this area. Now, key, I mean, you got all kinds of stuff right down here in about the $43 range, and you got the 200-day SMA. So if it continues to pull back, that could be another. I would say that's probably the better area if I were to look at the charts and kind of zoom out a little bit. $43 would probably be a nice area to kind of set an alert, but you know how the dynamic reactor has been for us over the past few months. It's just been money. So this would be an area for scalp intraday trade that I would be interested in at about 48. If I'm adding to my bags, about 43 is where I would be looking short term on Avalanche.
Awesome.
Cool.
I
OC,
get
you there?
Adam. Yeah. Just a little latency as always. Yeah, I
Cricket,
got Adam
cricket.
right here. And also want to refer it back to Ethereum because I believe the YCAF pattern might be forming here. So let me go back slightly to Ethereum because something it is cooking here. Remember these areas that I was looking at? If I go to daily, I can start looking for a bigger pattern, and that pattern will be look at this little range, a V-shaped recovery on its way. And if we look at the YCAF, look at that going that little range, V-shaped recovery, and then we can start measuring for that ranging area, right? Remember, usually those areas are pretty cool to make a buck, and then waiting for either a spring to the upside or a spring to the downside, and then predict the next upcoming movement. The same thing I'm looking at Atom. We have this little range. We don't quite yet have the V-shaped recovery, but so far, look at those wicks right on these bars. Let me show you. Those bars are my liquidity zones, right? So as you can see, liquidity zones usually go with big areas of reaction, right? So far, looking fantastic. Well, not fantastic, but very solid, right? We still don't we are not looking away from that. We are making this little range, and we could keep breaking down. Why? Because we are below the zero line. So the most likely scenario is to break down. How far down? You already know where my alarm is. Look at that. I'm expecting a 9.64 percent move. Sorry, price reach out. Right. Nonetheless, I'm gonna be adding another alert right here because if I start seeing that first I reach this upper alert right below this area right there. Let's see if that alert updates. All right, it is not. Let's do it one more time. Let's add that alert. And trading view is always not working. Well, what can we do? So hopefully it's going to be up there at some point, but you know which areas I'm looking at 11.79 ish. All right. Because if I hit first this top alert, I know I could be on the way on the wike of ranging here. And then I could be hedging or applying a hedging strategy. I am trying to get back on Atom. I did enter way back in the day and also way back lower prices. So now I'm not planning to enter so far up. I want to enter on my best case scenario areas. And this is 9.64, my best case scenario area, right? We are bearish. We are not consolidating at this point, and we are below the zero line. We are bearish, all right? I'm trying to look for those possibilities on where is it a good point to start looking for those reversals. And that's why I have those reversals. Look at how beautiful they work. They don't always point at trend reversals. They, depending on what they're doing, they point at breakouts and retest, right? And also they point at crazy movements like that. So depending on what I'm going to be looking, if I reach down like that and then I see a reversal, I'm going to be getting here as soon as I can because I know with a quick candle going back down like in here, I know I'm going to be having a big reversal, maybe going all the way up back at 12 zones. If I see a ranging zone in here and then I see a reversal, well, then I know I can prepare for maybe a little bit more of a ranging zone. Just look for maybe a pullback to that area and then move up on that through this resistance. So far, looking at my reversals, because also with the flip of the ribbon to the upside is going to be my possible entry at Atom. So yeah, that's what I got at Atom. What do you got there at TradeFly?
I got Beam. I got that pulled up on the daily. So I got a really good level for you guys to look at. Just pulling up the chart, really quick glance. I did a fib retracement on that. Well, you can see where we had previous resistance. All right. We had previous resistance, came down, got the retest right here in the area of what is now the golden pocket. At that time, it was not, but we got that area confirmation of we flipped resistance into support. Now we're about to come down and revisit that area. So this is a really good area for you guys to keep an eye on. That is about say 2.7 cents to 2.6 cents, and that's the 618 and the 65, right? So that's the golden pocket there. But what do you see here? You also see the dynamic reactor. So what we want to see, continuation of this coming down and right and pull back to this area. but you want to see the RSI or the prime oscillator start pulling back up and right. But it is getting pretty low down here, and we could find ourselves in an oversold situation and correlation with the golden pocket. So that's a prime area for you to look for. Could we find some support in this area? Yeah, look at this. Look at how many touches at the 0.5, but we're starting to get wicks underneath of it, and it's still pressing down pretty hard on the RSI. So I would be looking personally for a breakdown to this golden pocket area, and it looks pretty similar to what OC was just showing you, right? You're starting to see that a lot of the altcoins are starting to line up. We've been here before. It wasn't long ago that we were talking about a lot of these coins pulling back to the golden pocket, and then they had made that move up and right again, right? Overall, if you're looking at it, the overall pattern still bullish. We have not set a lower high yet. We're still good, right? These pullbacks, they're healthy, they're expected, they're normal, right? It comes in waves. Lunar Beach crypto, baby, riding those waves. And here we are looking at the golden pocket again. So this is an area, again, I would keep alert. That's a potential area to get back into this, right? Like, this is a big move that we came off of. Let's go ahead and measure that from top to golden pocket. That's a almost 40% retracement. So, that would be nice to get back in. You wouldn't feel so bad about getting back in and then seeing it move back up and right again. So again, key area, keep an eye on that. Obviously set a type stop loss because you got a little gap here from here once it starts coming down if it breaks down. But yeah, this is an area, man. This is an area definitely to keep an eye on and just have a tight stop loss underneath of it. So that's what I got. Quick look at Beam. Back over to you, OC.
TradeFly, just a quick warning before you look at chat. Just a quick little warning before you look at chat. But Dave Digital's got a interesting question.
Ah, geez, here we go. Oh, I see it.
You need to answer
Dave's
that,
back
please.
in the chat, baby. Welcome back, brother. I missed you. I'll be honest. I look for you in the mornings. Well, this is yeah, I guess it could be, man. Weird shit happens in hotels. I got to be honest with you. Sorry if that doesn't play over with YouTube very well. But yeah, dude. Hey, you know what? Here, I got some view, Dave. Let's make this real weird. There you go, baby. Oh yeah. There it is, man.
Look at that.
There it is. There it is. All right, let's get back to TA, man. Can't be Dave derailing the whole
back. I
freaking
got
segment.
Clean Spark.
Let's go.
So,
all right, Clean Spark.
Clean Spark on the technicals not looking that good. Although, I mean, we need to acknowledge that it does depend on Bitcoin and also the mining stuff. So I believe that it is not too much to worry about. Nonetheless, we could be having some big retracement to the dynamic reactor. As previously we were looking at, remember how we went to the top that we did not reach all the way up there? Nonetheless, it was a good prediction. The overall movement played out very nicely. Then going back to the dynamic reactor, making that little bull flag and bursting to the upside, right? Why am I pointing out that area? Because I'm looking at some bearishness right here. So if I start drawing some lines, you'll see that I have a flat bottom pennant or flat bottom triangle in here, right? So usually we break at the flat bottom area for all the other flat bottom areas, right? But also, at first glance, we have our first support in here. Let's just draw it. Then we have our dynamic reactor, and then we have the next support area right there, right? Let's start drawing a couple of other things. Look at that. We have another support. We have our trend resistance also acting as support. Then let's go to another support and support resistance, and we can see that base, a flat base, it is also support. But what is worrying me, it is that yes, we have a big support, but most importantly, we have a thick, high order block pushing us down. So if we are not able to break through this line in here soon, we're most likely going to be breaking down. So I'm trying to right click on this thing, and I don't know why I can't. I need to add, or I would love to add an alert. You guys in the home, there we go, add an alert. Hopefully this time it works. Great. All right. So adding an alert in here, I'm going to be adding another alert in here to this one. And that's going to be what I'm going to be looking at. Let's go to the 4 hour, but not before looking at, we have a ton of divergences and we are technically below the 0 line and we're flat. So it only takes a little bit of a flip of the ribbon and a break through one area to make.
Zoomed over here.
Yeah, still spinning. Oh, I think we're back. We're back.
There we
Let's do it.
go. So seems like we are back, guys. Thank you for putting on your team follow ahead. In here, it helps us out to get better signal and keep away that 5G things out of our heads. Thank you, guys.
Sweet. Is
Like
it
in
on me?
10:55, my team follow hat always on. So all
All
right,
right.
let me wrap
Cool.
things up. Thank you guys for your T4 hat, where your T4 hat that really help us. So let's keep it up in here and let's see. So the only thing that I was wrapping things up is that we have more resistance. Sorry, more resistance than support. Although we have two soft in here. But again, we're going to that dynamic reactor if we break this line at 15. Just be careful because we are below the zero line. Yes, we are bullish still, but we have a big consolidation score, so we could be just ranging for a little bit more before we have a liquidity grab. If we consolidate for a little bit more and we wait for that dynamic director to come rescuing us, then we could be pushed through the upper resistance and make it once again, which, by the way, is what I think is going to happen. So, Troy, back to you, TradFly.
Right on, man. So I had a request for CIFR mining. So I got that pulled up on the daily right here. I'll be pretty quick on that. Overall trend up and right. It's bullish. It was riding the 200-day SMA all the way up, as well as the dynamic reactor. So not something I was actually looking at all. This is the first time I have looked at this one. But I got the old chemtrails up right now. So we got our horizontal levels of support and resistance coming across the screen. And man, this thing could really push up. I mean, you see right here where a lot of people exit it. You see that high volume associated with this resistance area right here. I could very well see it pushing up there because this one right here, not a lot of volume. This is my own mark, and this is just going back, looking left on the chart. Where do I find support and resistance? That's me at about 526. It also lines up with this area right here. So that's me, and it's at the bottom side of where you see this volume starting to pick up. So you might find a little push off of that. So you come up here, find some price action, pulls back down, and then goes up and revisits this area would probably be the likely scenario. You can't just push all the way up straight through. But I mean, that's a nice move if you're already in this trade. I'd be a little nervous about getting in it, but still, I mean, it's a 23% move for you. That would be pretty nice. And yeah, about $5.54. I could totally see it going up there again, but it will probably find some resistance and you will likely see a pullback if it gets up there. But yeah, overall trend looks pretty bullish. If you're looking to get back in, if it does pull back, I mean, I'm not looking at too many areas besides, right here, 385 and about $3.20. This is more of your primo area right here. You know how I like to do things. I like to just wait for things to come to me, find a lot of confluence in an area, and that's where I'll likely look to go long. But looking at the oscillator just real quick, it is getting into overbought. So just looking, you are at an area, we'll say a small area of resistance, but it looks like it wants to come down and retest. Let's go ahead and just real quick look at the 4-hour chart, and still drawing lines here. But yeah, so it wants to get over top of this area right here, and it wants to retest it, it looks like. So it's pulling back right now, retesting this area, kind of trying to see if we're going to flip this into support is what it's working on right now. But if you get a close underneath of it, may not be likely. You might see a pullback. But yeah, dude, I mean, if you're in, congrats. If you got in down here, big congrats. It could very easily get up in here. This is the area that's associated with volume. So that's what I got. Quick look at CIFR mining. Over to you.
Absolutely. I want to go to a little bit of my alerts in here. Some of those are, let's see, Lemonade. It's just been crazy how Lemonade went pump up, and then we're going back in this area, like just hovering around. Just wanting to make sure that we're still good with the Lemonade price. Nonetheless, it was a little bit surprising to see that area. No, but all without seriousness. Let's take a look at Super, because Super is one of those coins that I want to buy and get into, right? We're seeing the same pattern here. Remember, we have my rooftop lines in here, and also that it was a breakout retest, and off we go. We went for a secondary retest and actually went back down, right? We are having those bullish divergences. We are very, very bearish. And on this area on Super, I am betting a little bit more for a retracement. Why? Because Look at our prime score and look at our consolidation score, 0. The unicorn is there. And if we can see 0 throughout the next couple of candles, most likely we're going to be going to the next big support area that I'm looking at, 0.9569. So guys, this is the area where I already have some spot orders on super. Looking forward to maybe getting those filled in. Remember, we never enter on strong signals, we enter on the pullbacks, and then off we go with the trade. All right, so we have a bunch of resistance at this area and little support. So again, looking forward for the 0.96, as long as we have flip of the ribbon at the top, a continuation to the bottom as support. So yeah, there's one of the things that I'm looking at. And turning back to you, at TradeFly, do we still have time?
Yeah, we got a few minutes, so I'll just take a really quick look at a whiff. I know a lot of people have been excited about that. We had a massive pullback. I mean, we had about an 80-90% run up here, and then you could see here came up for this second top, and then correlating here with the RSI. I mean, it's pretty much following the trend with price action, so you don't always see that, but it is, unfortunately, and it is in an area like if you guys are looking to build bags, we're getting back into a reasonable area. I say anywhere between $2 and about $1.85 is a reasonable area to start accumulating again, just based on previous support and resistance, and just coming off of this high. But it's low cap, it's volatile, so be careful. I'll say that, but just know that this is probably a decent area to accumulate for whiff. So we're going to go ahead and start wrapping it up. We'll go dual cam and we'll kind of talk this out, because Blackie Chan brought up a interesting little comment here, and he said, I got a question on the 4-year cycle. Do you think the 4-year cycle is only holding true because people give power to the 4-year cycle and base their trades off of it? Do you think it'll break soon? So OC, I'll go over to you first, kind of see what your thoughts are on that, and then I'll wrap it up and I'll get us out of here, man.
Absolutely. So I believe that yes and no. So a 4-year cycle is basically when we have the halving event, and the halving event, it is basically the supply getting at half, right? So that is very important, because as long as people are still buying or there is demand, the 4-year cycle will still be a thing, right? Without a shock of supply and demand. But also you have a point in there. If it's only standing just because people wants to buy, yes. Because if there were no interest on buying Bitcoin, it would basically not matter at all the 4-year cycle until it's sown. Remember at the very beginning on the first and second cycle how we have that parabolic movement, and there weren't many people buying it, although there was still some interested on, right? So the 4-year cycle does stay relevant the more people we get in and the more institutions we get in. Nonetheless, the 4-year cycle will always cut supply, and as long as there's 2 or 3 people mining it or buying it, the 4-year cycle will still be a thing, but the relevance comes from the large amount of people getting it or having an interest on that. So what do you think on that? What are your thoughts on
man,
that?
I agree with you on that aspect of it, right? If as long as the halving event occurs, then yeah, you have a 4-year cycle. Is it going to follow it to a T every time? Not necessarily. Like, we're already seeing that there's a change in some of the factors that go into this equation, right? And one of those is the ETF. Like, we didn't have an ETF before. So why are we pushing so hard before a halving cycle? Well, that's why. So why is it a little different than last time? Because there's different factors leading into it. You still run into psychological aspects of it as well, right? There's going to be people that are following this, like you're suggesting, that there's a psychological aspect to it, that like, hey, there's a halving event coming on. I'm going to go ahead and pull my money back here, put it on the side here, because I know that inevitably there should be a pullback before the halving. So there's going to be a piece of those people. But right now, people like Michael Saylor, the institutions, it seems like mostly are just going to kind of swallow that up, except for GBTC. They just want to offload everything. But, I think there's just factors that you have to take into consideration. And that's why we try to give you guys the full scope. We give you the news. We give you some of the fundamentals. We bring everything into the analysis. That's why we talk about everything, and we don't just stare at charts all day and say, here's your support and resistance, here's your trend lines, and here's your retracements. Like there's a lot of factors that go into it. So yeah, I mean, history repeats, but at the same time, there's always going to be things that are going to change the equation. To speak a little bit of OC speak there, and my engineer analysis, it's just different factors, man. But hey, 728. I don't have anything else on that note. So OC, I'll give it over to you, man, and let you kind of wrap it up, say your goodbyes, and then we'll roll the outro.
Absolutely. So, guys, just quick mention on Bonk. I'm looking at Bonk, and possibly it is a little bit up ahead on what I expect on Bitcoin to do. So, just look at that chart again. It is not that Bitcoin is following Bonk, not at all. But I believe it's a little bit up ahead in the future on what it's going to be doing, right? Other than that, guys, thank you so much for joining. Click that like button, because if you click that like button, your Cholula hot sauce will auto refill. Don't believe me? Try it out. And turn it back to you. Right?
Yeah, hey, absolutely. Thanks for sticking with us through all of the technical issues. Made a quick recovery, so that was nice. Still got 33 in the stream, so you guys are awesome. Really, really appreciate that. And hey, like you said, like and subscribe. Follow us over on Twitter, and we appreciate you guys. And hopefully, we're gonna get Piper back here in the fight here soon, and then we're gonna get Crux on, because I already said he's coming on a live stream now, so he is stuck. So you guys have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow. See y'all later.
Well, use a stop loss.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. TradeFly, get the soul train ready. What a line from OCI, from a Mexican spaghetti. Yo, Crux crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Chart Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have, step fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. Sound off to get with them, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
That was awesome, dude!